The Muppet Show won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about Night of the Comet. Comet, not comment.
No, Night of the Comet.
Yes.
There were no comments in 1984.
Night of the Comet is the movie they're working on about Elon Musk buying Twitter.
Okay, all right. Take yourself back to 1984. February 7th, astronauts Bruce McCandless II and Robert L. Stewart make the first untethered spacewalk.
Yeah, wasn't even on purpose either. Somebody just cut the cord and they just
was
went,
the third guy.
walking right off to the moon, baby.
Bye, guys. April 24th, an X-class, X-13 to be specific, solar flare erupts on the sun, the 7th largest solar flare ever recorded.
Yeah, man.
The largest is an X-28 plus.
We didn't have any internet for it to mess up.
No, but it did ruin radio for like a day.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Couldn't listen to my hits.
Yeah. Yeah, the biggest was recorded in 2001, and it was so big that it was literally their machines or instruments were not big enough to record it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't really do anything. I mean, anyway. Solar flares.
It's hot, man.
If you didn't realize it wasn't happening, then you wouldn't realize it was happening.
Yeah, it's not a problem until it is.
True. Fits for our month. Yeah. October 11th, aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger, astronaut Catherine D. Sullivan becomes the first American woman to perform a spacewalk.
Was it tethered or untethered?
I believe it was tethered because I think she later, like 6 months later, became the first American woman to do untethered. In fact, I think the first woman in the world.
Wouldn't let her off the leash for the first walk, huh? Pretty sexist,
Well, I can't
NASA.
imagine.
Pretty sexist.
You go skydiving, you should jump with a trained professional first.
Not if you do all the lessons.
No, you should still jump with
No,
a
baby.
trained professional
I'm going to
first.
do it without a parachute first.
They're going to spend billions of dollars sending you into space and just go, yeah, go, fine, you're good.
Hey, trust, man.
All right.
You got to trust your snots. That's what I call astronauts. Snots.
Okay. Well, thank God it's the last time we'll talk about snots in the podcast.
Ooh, this podcast. Wait till we do our NASA show. It's all about snots.
November 16th, Night of the Comet is released just in time for happy Christmas time viewing.
Technically, it is a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie. It is set 11 days before the end of the Christmas shopping period.
Yeah.
As they said on the radio broadcast from that Friday night. So it takes
And
place
Hector comes dressed as Santa with some presents when he comes back from San Diego.
There is the radio station is decked out in holiday stuff.
There's Christmas trees all over the place.
It's Los Angeles, so it seems very odd because there's no snow and all the things you think of in movies is like, oh, it's Christmas time. Like, that's not happening.
Well, Hector lovingly replaces the Christmas light that had fallen from the nail
In his mom's house.
in his mom's house before he grabs a pillow sack like a common robber and just grabs all the valuables and stuffs them in a sack before a little boy tries to eat him.
Yeah. Which, when that door was knocking and there was that little boy, I thought it was going to be his mom.
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was worse. It was a creepy little
Was
boy.
it? I mean,
kind of. That
yeah.
kid's face and the way he moved was super creepy.
It was. He was good. Yeah, he was good. Night of the Comet would open third in box office for its opening weekend, competing with the debut of the Chuck Norris action movie Missing in Action.
Oh, God. That was the time when, and God bless him, Vietnam and all the people that went through it. But we had just this deluge of rescuing POWs from Vietnam movies, culminating in a really great movie with Christian Bale and Steve Zahn, which was an actual story about the guys.
The one with the aircraft carrier at the end. Oh, God, what's that called? I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But that came out in like 2001.
Yeah, that's why I said culminating.
Yeah.
It was like, it took 30 years to get there, to get to an actual real story.
Right.
But it took a lot of Chuck Norris and
Well,
Rambo did.
Well, that was Rambo First Blood Part 2 was what started the whole, let's go to Vietnam and save the POWs.
They're still back there.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to get him, Sarah. It's going to be me.
Missing in Action was a complete ripoff of the First Blood Part 2.
Look, I know that everybody loves Chucky Norris, and he's the toughest man in the world, and we have all these Chuck memes about Chuck's beard can take on Santa's beard or whatever.
Yeah.
But let's be quite honest. Chuck was chasing Stallone for his entire effing career. Like, Stallone would make something, and then Chucky would make the B-movie knockoff.
You know Chuck Norris would sit at home and go, but I know karate. I'm better than him.
No, he'd be at home, like, looking in the trades. Okay. Sipping his herbal tea. Let's see. What's old Stallone Baloney doing today? Oh, he's going to do it. Hey, agent, my inferior agent. We got to do a movie about missing in action. Let's call it Missing in Action.
Yeah. Not as good as the sequel, Missing in Action 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
No, it was actually a prequel. So they actually set it in Vietnam.
What?
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Chuck Norris.
It put me in my mind in the multiverse, baby.
It was also the second weekend of Oh God, You Devil, starring George Burns. But Night of the Comet opened third behind them.
Oh God, You Devil. The Oh God movies were a strange phenomena.
Yes.
Yes,
they were.
If you all don't remember, there was 3 movies where George Burns played God.
Yeah.
And John Denver played a hapless, I don't know.
John Denver?
Restaurant manager or something. God, look, I need you to spread the word. I'm not going to help you at all. It's going to be very uncomfortable. But then I may or may not show up at the end in this really weird trial about you and God. And then we're going to make 2 more movies, and then I'm going to play God and the devil and really just jump the shark on that baby. But it's still going to make money, and it's still going to overshadow an amazing movie called Night of the Comet.
Yeah. Since then, Night of the Comet has gained a rabid cult following.
As it should.
Yes, it was definitely, of the 3, definitely the best movie.
I just want to go on record. I love this movie.
I love this movie too, and if we have time, we'll talk about some of the plot holes at the end of the episode.
Yeah, but I saw this in the theater. I was there. You know what I didn't see in the theater?
Oh God, You Devil?
No, I did actually, because I really liked George Burns. I liked those movies.
Sorry, I totally
liked those
misjudged
movies.
that.
I was a boy.
They were fun.
I loved George Burns, and I believed in God back then.
You didn't see Missing in Action?
I didn't see Missing in Action. I wasn't a big fan of
Chuck Norris?
Chucky Boy.
Yeah.
He just seemed kind of like he had a lisp. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. Maybe he did. I think he had a lisp. No, he has a little bit of a lisp.
Yeah.
Come on, Walker,
He
Texas Ranger.
hides it very well.
He does, but he's fine. I really enjoyed him in the Bruce Lee movie.
Oh, Enter the Dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was good in Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
He just always looks... Chuck... Okay, I'm going to stop after this, I promise. But Chuck Norris just kind of looks like a guy who won a karate championship in the Valley, and then he just kind of showed up on set, and they're like, man, put him in. Put him in the movie. He's just got that blonde, mustachioed 70s karate look.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Everybody has.
We
have a friend who does karate, a little guy.
And
he has that same mustachioed blondie look,
You were very right in that Chuck Norris, his whole career, was riding the coattails of trends. That's all it was. He got lucky, and he rode trends. The very first movie I ever saw in the theater was a Chuck Norris movie.
I know. That's why you love him.
Yeah. I do. I have fond memories.
I like Lone Wolf McQuade.
That one actually.
I don't even know. Really? I just love the title.
My best friend Damien, growing up, literally we would just yell that at each other.
Lone Wolf McQuade!
Lone Wolf McQuade! Whenever it was like somebody trying to be tough, it was like, okay, Lone Wolf McQuade, calm down.
No idea what that movie's about, but one of my favorite titles of a movie.
Lone Wolf
ever.
McQuade.
Lone Wolf McQuade. I mean, there's so many possibilities there.
Yes. Anyway, now away from the Chuck Norris hour, moving on to Night of the Comet. Night of the Comet started with writer-director Tom Eberhardt. Tom was a Los Angeles native, born in 1947.
Yeah, and he's a TH, Tom. A thom.
Yeah, look, his parents said that. I mean, his parents did that. It's not
when you're an adult, you could change your thom to a Tom.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's your identity.
I'm not a fan of the thom.
Okay, it's
Thoms.
Tom. It's Tom.
Sure.
Did you say Thomas?
I do, actually.
Okay. Of course you do.
Henry Thomas from Battle Beyond the Stars.
When Tom was 21, he was a production assistant on Steven Spielberg's Amblin, which jump-started Spielberg's career.
Yes, and he named his company after that.
Yes, he did. Eberhardt would move into producing documentaries for PBS. He actually won a bunch of awards for doing documentary work.
So now it makes sense. He's snooty thom. PBS in my documentary.
Snooty. Actually, to be honest, Tom is the hero in this story.
He really is. I don't know why I'm giving him so much crap. Is he still alive?
Yes, he is. He's retired, but he's alive.
You're amazing, Thom.
Yeah, he's okay. Tom, thank you. While working on the documentaries for PBS, he continued to work on feature-length scripts for movies that he wanted to see.
Nice.
Yeah, one of these was a script called Soul Survivor, about a woman who survives a plane crash and ends up realizing she should have died and is chased by death.
Weird.
I thought at first it was going to be kind of Unbreakable-like, but then it turned into Final Destination.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
It's essentially Final Destination, where she should have died in this plane crash. She didn't, and then...
So Death's trying to correct the mistake.
Yes, exactly.
I'm coming after you, lady. You should have died in that crack.
I would
crack?
actually...
Crash.
In the crash. In the crick.
In the crick of the crash.
In the creek? Yeah.
I'll drown you in the crick.
I would say that Final Destination probably ripped this idea off.
Maybe, or... Somebody had the same idea because that happens all the time.
I mean, it happened much later. But...
Yeah, I don't know if the Final Destination guys were gleaming in the early '80s trunk of failed scripts. Hey, look, I found one by Thom.
It was not a failed script. It was made into a movie.
Oh, was
and
it?
It was released in March of 1984.
Well, I stand corrected.
7 months before Night of the Comet was released. He shot on his own. He wanted to make it his directorial debut, so he shot it in 28 days without permits in Orange County. It was released in March, 7 months before Night of the Comet.
Did it do any box office biz?
It did okay.
Was it
but
boffo?
It wasn't. No, it was not. It definitely was not. But it did set the tone that he very much shoots very cheaply, and his stuff has a tendency to make money. He's very much the Roger Corman-ish of
and he's a fan of the strong female protagonist.
He is, very much. While working on that script and shooting his PBS documentaries, he was working on a script about high schoolers surviving an apocalypse.
What?
As Jim said, he was a huge fan of strong female protagonists. He was very much inspired by Ginger Rogers, thought that she was very strong.
Odd. That's an odd... I'm sorry, but that's
I thought so,
odd.
too. I thought so, too.
I mean, no offense, Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire. Some of the greatest hoofers in the business. Tip, tip, tappity, taps.
Yes.
But Ginger Rogers in an apocalypse, no thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say...
she tippity, tippity, tap, tap, taps all over the heads of the...
She was just as good of a dancer as Fred Astaire, and she did everything backwards.
Yes, I'm not saying she was not... Yes, Adam. Ginger Rogers was an incredible
Ginger Rogers so much?
And she was a much better dancer than... I was going to say Fred Rogers, which is true.
Yes.
But...
Although I don't know, I've never seen.
But her hoofing skills don't translate into apocalyptic survival skills. Pal.
Characters were strong female characters. That is why he was inspired by her.
Okay.
That's all.
We'll have to talk to Thom.
All right. He also had a love for the imagery of post-apocalyptic empty cities. This is what drove him to write this script. It could be the origins of his anti-consumerism nature of Night of the Comet. Yeah. Much like there was a big thing in the 70s with like Dawn of the Dead, and there was a bunch of horror movies that were doing very much commercialism sucks.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, it kind of does. But you know what? I like stuff.
I know. At the same time,
so I can't be a hypocrite.
I want to watch the movie that you're trying to make, and the only way I can do that is through commercials.
To consume it. Yeah, you had to purchase the Blu-ray for us to watch this movie.
I did.
You had to be a consumer.
I did. It's the only money I've spent on Night of the Comet.
It was nice to pop the old disc in.
Yeah, it really was it was a nice throwback. I haven't bought a new DVD or DVD. God, I sound like I'm 80. Or a Blu-ray.
There's a DVD.
In
there's
forever.
a DVD,
there's a DVD in it. I know. It's just that I did the general calling everything home video DVD like my parents did with VHS back in the day. It's it's not the same.
Okay.
I'm becoming old.
Yeah, well, I think you are old. I think you've become.
Thanks, man. But buying it was
oldness.
nice because it was like, oh, there's commentaries, there's extra stuff. Like it was nice to watch some of the extra things. When filming while filming his PBS docs, he would ask the teenage girls he was filming what they would do during an apocalyptic event.
Hey. Psst.
Yes.
Hey, girls.
Yes.
Come here. Hi, my name's Thom. I'm a director. You may know me from such PBS classics as Snooty Snoots and the Snooters and How to Not Be a Consumer. Anyway, look, ladies, I got a question for you. Sexy question. What would you do during an apocalypse?
Most of them thought it would be cool and an exciting adventure.
I thought it'd be cool and an exciting adventure.
The only downside they see was when he would mention that the dating scene would have become non-existent.
Hey, you know what, ladies? I'm going to be the only one left, and Pickens is slim, but I'm Slim Pickens.
It was not true in Night of the Comet because there was definitely some romance happening.
The thing about Night of the Comet that is so cool is it really does kind of have a reality to it with the teenage kids. Like the sister being jealous that her older sister, who always steals her boyfriends, gets the only guy left.
Right.
The last man on earth.
That's something that people, I think, would identify with.
Yeah.
For sure,
There's a lot of really cool small moments in this movie that make it a great movie rather than just like a schlocky
totally
B movie.
Yeah. So the girls' responses helped him shape his main characters and the light tone in Night of the Comet. Eberhardt brought the finished script, which he called Teenage Mutant Comet Zombies, to Atlantic
Teenage Mutant
Releasing
Comet
Corporation.
Zombies, Teenage Mutant Comet Zombies, Teenage Mutant Comet Zombies, Comets on the half shell. Comet power!
Couldn't change half shell to anything else. Nope. This was also released 2 years before that theme song came out, just so you know.
But the Turtles were around, right?
They were, but that theme song came out with the cartoon
I know that.
in 1989.
It didn't come out with the comic book.
I know. Yeah, didn't it?
Right. You must think I am quite a fool. Quite a fool.
So he sent the script to Atlantic Releasing Corporation. They loved the script. They wanted to invest $700,000 into it immediately. But the catch was that Tom Eberhardt wanted to direct the film, and he had very little experience, even though Soul Survivor was done but hadn't been released yet.
What about my PBS stuff?
Yeah. Well, he won awards for that. I mean, but it's not.
Had a cup of coffee, Adam.
He wanted to have, he wanted to have a career as a director. So the only way he could do that was to hold out, and eventually Atlantic Releasing said okay and allowed him to direct the film.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really glad.
No, I mean, honestly, yes. I don't know if anybody else would have. They probably would have screwed it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Atlantic Releasing Corporation wanted to capitalize on the success of Valley Girl, which they had released the previous year, had cleared over $17 million in box office off a $350,000 budget.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I haven't seen that in a long, long time.
Started old Nicholas Coppola's career.
Yeah.
Nicky Cage.
He became Nick Cage.
You're a Valley Girl. I like you.
They also liked the dark comedy nature of the script, hoping to capitalize on successes like Repo Man, Alex Cox's feature-length writing-directing debut.
Such a great movie.
Yeah, it's a great drive-in movie. That was the other thing. It was drive-ins were really big at the time, and they were trying, with Night of the Comet, to create a drive-in movie. So people would bring their friends in the giant car full of teenagers.
Yep.
To hedge their bets on the film's success, Atlantic Releasing Corporation asked Andrew Lane and Wayne Crawford, producers of Valley Girl, to produce Night of the Comet. Eberhardt had high hopes for Lane and Crawford as they had fought Atlantic Releasing Corporation on removing Martha Coolidge, who directed Valley Girl. They wanted to replace her, and the two producers said, no, she's the director for us.
Nice.
And they relented and let them do it. It seems like Atlantic Releasing Corporation was like, hey, you guys know what you're doing. We're going to make this request. You say no. Okay, fine. Unfortunately, this was not the case with Tom Eberhardt and the producers, as they clashed constantly during Night of the Comet. Eberhardt would later say that they did not understand the film and resented being assigned to such a low-budget B movie.
Oh, come on. Their movie was such a low-budget B movie.
A low-budget B movie that was twice the budget of their previous movie.
Yeah, come on, guys. It's got the same sensibility.
Somebody let the success get to their head.
Yeah, you guys are jerks.
It was kind of ridiculous that they held up this way. In fact, they clashed so much that the producers actually tried to have Eberhardt fired off Night of the Comet. Despite this, Tom Eberhardt, being a really stand-up dude, still praised their producing skill and has gone on record saying that the movie couldn't have been made without them.
Now, we could talk about like, oh, they're jerks and whatever.
Yeah.
But he's also a pretty green director, so maybe there was
totally
actual reason for this clashing, and then they got through it, and the movie ended up being okay. But I get it. I mean, yes, they sound a little snooty.
Yeah.
But it's difficult working with green people. I mean, I know. It's like it's not, just because somebody has a lot of enthusiasm and ambition doesn't mean that they know what they're doing.
Well, and a lot of it, too, I think, was that in the previous movie, I'm sure he did not have producers, and so it's a lot of letting go of responsibilities that they can do, that it's hard as a one-man band to be like, okay, you know, I mean, he's probably making decisions. They're like, why didn't you run that by us?
Well, because it's also, when you are a one-man band and you do that for so long, you get into a rhythm and you know how to do things. Right. And it's hard to explain to people sometimes the method to your madness.
Right.
And, you know, it's also... It can slow you down sometimes when they're like, whoa, wait, what about this? And you're like, no, I know what I'm doing. And they're like, well, no, I don't think you know what you're doing. And it's well.
Yeah, but it seems, I mean, the movie turned out great. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you know. Let's move on to casting. Catherine Mary Stewart plays Reggie Belmont.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. She was so fantastic in this movie. She actually got her big break in a movie called The Apple in 1980, a musical science fiction cult film. The movie was directed by Menahem Golan.
From Golan and Globus?
Yes, the Israeli producer who co-owned the Cannon Group with his brother Yolan Globus. Golan and Globus went on to produce a slew of comic book style films in the 1980s, like Masters of the Universe, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, Captain America, and an aborted attempt to bring Spider-Man to the silver screen.
All horrible films. Horrible, all of it, without exception.
I have a soft spot for Masters of the Universe, but
yes, everybody does, but it's still a horrible film.
It's not a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It's not. It's definitely not a Masters of the Universe movie. No, it's something else
masterful about it.
But yeah, it was goofy and bad. But yes, the Captain America movie was so atrocious. And Superman 4 pretty much killed the Superman franchise for like 30 years.
And almost killed Richard Pryor.
It almost did, that's true. So the movie The Apple was set in the far future of 1994 and is about a singer who signs on to an evil recording group called Boogaloo International Music, or Boogaloo, I guess. Boogaloo International Music. If this intrigues you in any way, the movie is streaming on Tubi and Pluto TV.
Nice. Is she the singer?
Yes, she was actually in college in London at the time and had signed on to the Apple. In collagen, yes, she was literally in a giant vat of collagen.
Interesting.
Yeah,
and they just scooped her out to do
just
this
to
movie?
play it. Yeah,
no wonder she looks so beautiful,
drippy in the movie. Yeah,
it's gross.
It was actually during this film that she became Catherine Mary Stewart. She was born Mary Nursall, but Golan hated her name so much he insisted that she change it.
Ugh, I hate your name. I hate it. I hate your name.
It's a...
I'm only 19. Can you just back off for a second? Change your goddamn name, lady. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll change it. Just stop yelling at me. Ugh. Get back to work.
Yeah, so she took her mother's maiden name to make him happy. I mean,
you happy now? Are you happy?
you were offered a part. I'm sure there was a lot of pressure. You know, I mean, it's a big movie. They at this point the company had been around for like 15 years. They had a lot of hits. I mean, it's
sure.
Hard.
I mean, everybody changed their name.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Everybody still does.
Yeah. Shortly after this, she moved to Los Angeles and got a part on Days of Our Lives, where she appeared from the beginning of 1982 until the end of 83. And then she was cast in The Last Starfighter, which was released in July of 84.
Oh, I love that movie. That is such a good movie.
Great movie.
We used to watch that a lot at San Pasqual High School on rainy days.
Oh, really? Like they would play it in school?
That movie for some bizarre reason. But yeah, I love that movie. That we're definitely doing a show about that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think that was that before this or after?
Yes, it was before this.
That's kind of when I first saw her. Was like
Catherine Mary Stewart. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and she just had that cool tomboy kind of, you know, not putting up with any S.
Yeah,
kind of you know tough girl thing that just was very cool at the time. You know, it was different. It wasn't, you know, some blonde bombshell or, you know, some she just looked like a real person, like somebody you could be going to high school with.
Yeah, she played a lot of very strong female characters. I mean, a lot of strong characters. The Last Starfighter also featured a character that was very good at video games, who then goes on to do great things, much like in Night of the Comet, and she is playing Tempest.
Yeah, well, you know, in the other movie, he literally saves the universe, and this one she just kind of buys and gets a bunch of crap for free because they're both dead. But yeah,
they're definitely comparable. Yeah. After Night of the Comet, she's gone on to do a lot of TV and TV movies. Her most notable part being featured in what would be in 1989 in A Weekend at Bernie's.
Hey, Bernie's dead, but we got a big meeting. What are we gonna do? Oh, let's create this elaborate scheme to make it look like Bernie's still alive. Let's get to the hardware store and get a lot of ropes and pulleys.
It's such a terrible movie.
So bad.
And I love it so much. It's
too.
so
And it's
bad.
like, what like, who thought to cast Jonathan Silverman and two really not very funny guys?
No.
You know, Jonathan Silverman's kind of funny, but he's just got that one note.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he's got that. Jonathan Silverman is like, well, if you can't get Seinfeld and you can't get Paul Reiser, you might as well get Silverman.
Check box C for Jonathan Silverman.
Yes. And then Andrew McCarthy.
Andrew McCarthy.
He's so weird.
He also is very much like Jonathan Silverman, is funny.
But he's just so
but
twitchy.
Has that one thing that makes him funny, and that's it.
He's twitchy and blinky. You can't see, but my eyes are blinking so much.
This is an audio medium.
Yeah, I mean, if you could see me, it would be like, wow, it's like I'm
it's
looking
like
at
Andrew McCarthy in A Weekend at Bernie's. Yeah, 89.
But no, I was doing 86.
Oh, you were doing 86 before he made it
Pretty
big.
in Pink. I was doing
that's right.
not the character that he played in Weekend at Bernie's, Chip McDougal.
I'm gonna mark it now. If we get to the point where we do Weekend at Bernie's, we should stop.
We're not doing a Weekend at Bernie's.
If we ever do an episode of Weekend at Bernie's, that'll be the last episode we ever do.
Wow, you heard it here.
Yeah. I love Weekend at Bernie's. Don't get me wrong. Anyway,
let's be honest. We're probably going to do a Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh my God, we probably are. In Night of the Comet, Matthew.
And I swear to God, if it's our last show, man, I'm killing myself.
I heard it here first. In Night of the Comet, Catherine Mary Stewart did almost all of her own stunts except for the motorcycle riding, not the close-ups, obviously. The close-ups, she was on a truck.
Now, can I tell a quick story?
Yeah, please.
So I used to run a casting suite at this like head shop, you know, this photography place.
Down Hollywood?
Yeah, and then it moved to the Valley.
Yeah.
Oh, the absolute worst person I've ever worked for. Such an awful little bully. Such an awful little man. But I loved the job. What I would do is I would film actors doing an audition, and I would read the lines with them from behind the camera. And I was really good at it. I would, like, a lot of the people that came in would book the jobs, and they would come back and be like, thank you, whatever. It's not like I was great or anything. I'm good at cold reading, so I could, give them a little something, so it wasn't just like, them reading against a wall.
Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, exactly. It's, I think I'm going to kill you. Yeah, they're crying and they're emoting, and it's just like, oh, baby, I just want to do it. Please let me go.
Are you so hurt? What is wrong?
Exactly. So I was a little better than that. So
yeah, very much better than that. Come on.
But we would get some, quote unquote celebrities
Names.
that would come in. Jaleel White, I once did with him. I think you guys remember him as Urkel.
Yeah.
Very nice guy. But the part he was going for was hard, man. And he was really good, too.
Yeah.
He was really good.
He's a great actor.
He
played two different parts in that.
Stephen Urkel and Stephen Urkel. Or was it Stefan Urkel?
Stefan Urkel.
Excuse me.
Yeah. How dare
Urkelites.
you.
Don't come after me, Urkelites. But anyway, so she came in, and she was one of my first big crushes.
Oh,
you know, and I was so in love with her. And so she comes in, and I'm getting a little nervous, because she's still absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
I mean, she hasn't aged a day. And, not that it would be a problem if she did. Aging is what we do.
Yeah, she's aged very well.
I think Hollywood needs to get a little more, progressive on their...
A little more okay.
On their aging. So she comes in, and we do this. The part was we were married. And we're arguing about our son who had come out of the closet, and I wasn't happy about it.
Oh.
And neither was my character. No. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
But I was like, I went for it, man.
Oh, yeah?
Because it was just like...
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Exactly. So I went for it. And I'm like looking her in the eyes. And I had done this scene a few times that day. So, I pretty much knew it. Like, I would get the stuff memorized. Because a lot of times you would, you'd get 10 or 15 actors coming in doing the same part. Because they're, so you get really good. So by that time, I was ready. Yeah. And we do the scene. And it was great. And she's like, you must be an actor. And I was like, oh, my whole heart went. You
became 15 again.
Kind of. She's like, thank you very much. That was, you were very present. And I was
Nice.
like, we get the part.
You were so good in Night of the Comet!
I love you. I didn't embarrass myself, which was a feat. A feat for me.
It's always nice when you do meet your quote-unquote heroes and they're actually good people.
I've had a pretty good run with that. And even like the jerks seem to like me, so, whatever.
Hey.
Birds of a feather.
It takes one to know one, I guess. No, I don't know.
Anyway, so that's my...
Anyway, that's awesome, though. That's cool. Yeah. That's so cool that you got to act with her.
I did.
That's pretty rad.
Well, quote, unquote, yes.
Yeah, I know, but still you did.
Well, what I did was I took the tape.
Okay.
And then I filmed myself doing it.
Right here.
And then I cut it together and put it in my reel. It was like, you did a movie with
and sometimes he'd turn all the lights off.
Yes.
Just watch the scene alone in his room.
I did. I filmed my part with my shirt off.
Okay. All right.
Nobody wants to see that.
All right. Kelly Maroney as Samantha Sam Belmont.
She was so good.
She was absolutely incredible. She's one of those people that in the movie you're like, no, she's just going to be that valley girl. Mm-hmm. But she shows such depth and range in this movie. It's fantastic.
She looks very stereotypical 80s, little cheerleader blonde. But, there's a lot of shit going on with that family.
Oh,
with
yeah.
The stepmom and the dad and the slapping and the abuse.
So, yeah. So she actually started her career on the soap opera Ryan's Hope, appearing in 319 episodes.
Most actors got their starts on soaps.
Yeah, it was a big thing, especially back in the 80s.
Well, because they were all New York actors, and soap shot out of New York, and, people, it was like, oh, throw them on a soap. Well, basically anybody could get work. All the snooty actors are like, I don't want to do commercials or soap operas or television. I just want to do films.
I don't like to make money. Okay.
But not our friend Kelly Maroney.
No, Kelly Maroney she wanted to act. She did some good acting in Ryan's Hope. She's perhaps most well known for playing Cindy in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
And we're gonna beat them, right?
Yeah, she was the head cheerleader.
Guys, it's really hard getting up here in front of everybody and doing da-da-da-da-doo-dee. It was so great. It's such a different character.
Yes.
She's literally playing the same cheerleader.
Same type.
Yeah, but 180
totally
degree difference between the characters.
On paper, they're both just cheerleaders, but they are so different.
I didn't even realize she was the one from Fast Times.
Yeah. She's so fantastic. After Night of the Comet, she appeared in Chopping Mall and a slew of B movies. Chopping Mall is one of my favorite horror movies.
That's great, but what a shame. She was such a good...
Yeah, she's done a lot of TV stuff. She had a very long TV career, appearing in guest parts on Simon & Simon.
They were brothers, Simon and Simon. They solve crimes.
And they solve crimes, okay.
Sometimes
That's what that was. They weren't just named Simon?
No, they were Simon and Simon. That was the name of the detective agency.
Simon and Simon?
Simon, ampersand, Simon.
Are they both named Simon? Their first name's Simon?
They're brothers, dude. Their last name is Simon.
Oh, I thought their first name was Simon.
Booby and Booger Simon. That was their names. That's why they went by Simon and Simon, because they didn't like their first names. Their dad was a jerk. He was a clown.
Hate them?
Yes. Dad was a circus clown named Boo-Boo and Booger, tried to get him into the... But his dad was sadly eaten by a bear during a performance in a Russian zoo. They did like a crossover where they sent some American clowns to Russia and some Russian clowns to America, like a exchange program. And his dad, they're Simon and Simon, Booger and
this has absolutely nothing to do with Night of the Comet.
Their dad got eaten by a bear, and they were like, well, we got to solve crimes now.
So she also appeared on True Blood.
Now, True Blood.
Is that... okay. And Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job.
Who was she on True Blood?
She was one of the... She was like a pastor or something?
Huh.
I don't remember. I wrote it...
I need to look it up, because I'd like to see what she looks like now.
And she was on Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job.
I'm sure I saw that.
Yes.
I love that show.
It was a great show. Heather Langenkamp of Nightmare on Elm Street fame actually auditioned for this part of Sam and actually read with Catherine Mary Stewart before the part went to Kelly.
Good. And no offense to Heather Langenkamp, but she's not a good actress.
I haven't really seen her much, so it's hard to say.
I've seen her in the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. She's not a good actress.
She does not have the depth.
She does not have the chops.
Okay.
But she's good at getting chops.
Kelly Maroney is a better actor.
100%. And, I don't know. Maybe Heather Langenkamp is better now as she's older. I don't know. I haven't seen her lately.
She actually mostly does visual effects now.
Really?
Yeah, she does a lot of creature makeup and stuff like that.
Very cool. All right. Way to pivot.
Yeah.
You made a good decision, Heather Langenkamp.
She took something. She started on with all the stuff in the horror movies, and then literally turned into another career. It was
Good choice.
Yeah, she was smart.
Good for her.
Robert Beltran as Hector Gomez, or as they say in the movie, Hector. Robert's big break came from landing the title character in the dark comedy Eating Raoul by Paul Bartel.
There's a few Eating Raoul alums in this.
There are, actually. There's quite a few. Just before Night of the Comet, he co-starred... I just said it, Night of the Comet.
Yep. You're going to do it again.
Just before Night of the Comet, he co-starred in the Chuck Norris action film Lone Wolf McQuade!
Yeah.
It all comes back.
All
comes back.
I'm Lone Wolf McQuade. Seriously.
So,
Lone Wolf McQuade.
Now, I know two things about Lone Wolf McQuade, that it's called Lone Wolf McQuade and that Robert Beltran is in it.
But if he's a lone wolf, he can't have any friends.
I think Robert Beltran played the villain. He initially turned down the role of Hector as he didn't want to play the character as written, which he thought made the character a stereotypical cholo, as he called it.
Which probably was, because white writers back then were not very racially sensitive. And, the black guy was a pimp.
Yeah.
The Mexican guy was a gangbanger, wearing a zoot suit or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the woman needed to be rescued. There was a lot of, So it was good that that the director realized this and it was more collaborative.
Yeah. That's at the end of the day, Eberhard was more about the collaboration and said, yes, please, personalize the role. He understood that he was not a person of Hispanic origin, so he's like, please make it your own. Robert Beltran has been active in the Los Angeles theater scene for years, helping burgeoning actors by putting on a ton of Shakespeare to those who wouldn't normally get the chance.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Boring.
A lot of Shakespeare. He's a theater actor.
Kidding. Shakespeare's great.
He actually co-founded a East LA theater production company that helped people in Risk. Robert Beltran is a very good person. After Night of the Comet, he starred in Paul Bartel's follow-up to Eating Raoul, Scenes from the Class Struggle in Beverly Hills.
Good movie.
As well as Bugsy and Nixon. I have not seen Scenes from the Class Struggle in Beverly Hills, and after seeing Robert Beltran in this, I do want to see him in more stuff. And I haven't seen Eating Raoul either.
Really?
Yeah, I need to see that. Yeah.
It's about
It's
cannibalism.
another one that I think we should cover at some point.
Well, it was a very big indie hit.
Yes. Robert Beltran most recently was on 2 seasons of Big Love, season 3 and 4.
Wasn't he also on one of the Star Trek shows?
Oh, yes, he was. He's had a ton of success on TV, appearing in guest stars on a ton of TV shows, as well as starring and winning awards for his performance on Star Trek Voyager.
Voyager.
God. I thought we were done with that.
We're never done with Voyager.
Oh, my God. All right.
They're still talking to Voyager, 40-something years later. I saw that article. And it's doing weird crap that they can't
figure out why. It's sending back weird data.
It's full on becoming Voyager from Star Trek the Motion Picture.
I'm not saying aliens, but aliens.
I'm just saying it's going to have consciousness.
Okay. And it'll be called...
It'll be sentient.
Voyager.
I am Voyager. I must destroy the galaxy to find my missing letters.
Sharon Farrell as Doris. Reggie and Sharon Farrell as Doris, Reggie and Sam's stepmother. Sharon is a native Iowan who regularly worked in film and TV, most notably in Larry Cohen's cult horror film It's Alive in 1974.
It's Alive.
And Hawaii Five-0 from 1977 to 1980.
She looks exactly like a stepmother from the 80s. I mean, there could not be a better representation of a stepmother in the 80s than her in Night of the Comet.
Yeah, not hiding the fact that she's banging the neighbor and while the dad's away.
But just her look.
Yeah.
I mean, she just dripped 80s stepmom.
Yeah.
That's my Night of the Comet.
After Night of the Comet, she played the mother in Can't Buy Me Love, which is one of my favorite movies.
Which she looks completely different. She doesn't, she's not such a tart all tarted up like she was.
No, I mean, it's a much smaller part, but it's...
That's a great movie, too. We're going to have to cover all of his teen movies. All of the nerd that becomes sexy. Boy, McDreamy. Before he was McDreamy, he was McNerd.
Can't Buy Me Love and...
that pizza...
The Gigolo movie.
Pizza on my crotch, I think it was called.
Yes.
Eat my butt pizzas.
Eat my butt pizzas.
It was like the something lover or something, wasn't it? Or like...
I don't remember. We've actually, in a previous episode, had to look this up before.
Yeah, it was Can't Buy Me Love, and then...
I actually, one of...
Loverboy.
Loverboy,
that's what it was.
But one of my favorite movie of his from the 80s was... I think it was just called Run, if I remember right. About he was trying to deliver a car, and he ends up going into an illegal, like an underground poker thing, and ends up killing a mob boss's son by accident. I loved that movie. I don't know why. It is one of those that because it
happened to you.
As soon as the accident starts, it just goes.
Yeah, he starts to run, and he just doesn't stop.
It was a great
movie. You
movie.
killed a couple of Iowan mob bosses accidentally.
Yeah, they were Amish. Yeah.
When you were a Ute.
Yeah.
In
it
Iowa.
was an accident. Yeah.
They ate the poison.
I hate to tell you this, but my fists are lethal weapons.
Oh boy, you and Chuck North.
Mary Woronov is Audrey White.
She's awesome.
Now, Mary Woronov is fantastic. She first appeared as one of Andy Warhol's superstars, as he called them, dancing and acting in his films.
Oh, yeah. What a great experience, man, just being part of the, that scene. You know, being part of the workshop or whatever he called it.
Yeah, it was, I don't remember what it was called, but I went to, when we were in Pittsburgh, I went to the Andy Warhol Museum, and it was fascinating. I learned so much more about Andy Warhol than I ever knew.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing.
Mary Woronov frequently appeared with Paul Bartel of Eating Raoul, having played his wife in 17 different movies.
Wow, they should just get married already.
She appeared in a ton of cult films like Lloyd Kaufman's Silent Night, Deadly Night in 1972 and Death Race 2000 in 1975.
She's got a very 70s look to her.
Oh,
she looks just
totally.
like a 70s lady,
Yeah.
And she's just got this kind of like tough girl vibe. Just, you just see her smoking cigarettes and drinking a scotch. I don't know. She just seems very kind of like no nonsense to me.
Totally. She worked with Roger Corman quite a bit, and Robert Beltran actually suggested her for the part.
She was great.
Yeah, she was fantastic in it, yeah. I mean, the second she gets on screen, it's magnetic. It's just like, okay.
Well, these Dharma Initiative folks in the movie, because they have pretty much the same symbol as Lost, for the... Was it called the Dharma Initiative?
It was the Dharma
Initiative. Was it called the Dharma
Initiative?
Initiative?
Yeah, on Lost, yes, it was the Dharma Initiative. And it was similar. It was the octagonal shape, yeah.
Yeah, but it was also kind of had this weird, very similar vibe to it that maybe... Carlton Cuse was like, oh, really? Maybe he was a huge Comet fan.
It's very possible. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's part of the same universe, man. Maybe it's canon. But she just... The cool thing about that whole group is they're these scientists who are just desperate to survive. And she realizes the futility of the survival.
Yeah.
And just doesn't want to go along with it. And then... She has that great monologue in the radio station, which I believe, didn't she improvise?
She improvised most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just goes to show.
Just more of Tom Eberhard being like, yes, if you feel it, do it. And she's such a great actor. Like,
Well, he trusts the people he's collaborating with.
Yeah.
He's a collaborator, which makes it seem weird to me that the producers were so, keen on getting him fired.
I'm guessing that it's because they probably had different visions for the movie, and he's like, yeah, I'm still directing this. Like, you're helping me make it, I mean, and granted, that's all conjecture. I don't really know. But
And look, hey, Valley Girl's a really fun movie, but it's not breaking all of the stereotypes and norms, and, it's basically Romeo and Juliet with a dude from the Valley.
Right.
And I guess a girl from the Valley and a dude from the Bari. I don't know where Nick Cage where he's from, but but it's the wrong side of the Valley apparently.
Jeffrey Lewis is Dr. Carter, the leader of the Dharma Initiative think tank. He may look familiar as he's appeared in over 200 films and TV shows.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff.
He's
a lot of Clint Eastwood things.
He's one of those character actors that you recognize his face all the time. I had no idea his name was Jeffrey.
No, Jeffrey.
Jaffray, yeah.
Jeffrey.
It just doesn't seem to fit him at all.
Let's cast Jeffrey, Clint.
He works with Clint Eastwood a lot, as well as Robert Redford.
Jeffrey's really good.
He's so good. I love him as a character actor and everything.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing. He's a journeyman. He's one of those guys that's always good, always solid. That's why he worked all the time. One of the unsung heroes that you know his face. One of the guys like, did we go to high school together?
Yeah.
That probably gets that a lot.
Yeah.
But it's just he's like, I've told you that there's like actors that I glom onto, and when they're bad guys, I want them to be good guys.
Yeah.
And he's one of the guys. And I distinctly remember him from the Any Which Way But Loose and Any Which Way You Can, the orangutan movies with Clint Eastwood, two of his greatest movies, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Glide, left turn. But he was like the trainer for, because I don't know, I'm just going to go quickly on
Go
this.
for it.
So Clint Eastwood is a bare knuckle brawler with, and I think a truck driver maybe. And
He definitely drove a truck. Yes.
and his best friend is Clyde, an orangutan. And he's got his mother or grandmother played impeccably by the woman from Harold and Maude. But if you have a chance, these movies are so ridiculous, but you have to see them because there was this time where everybody made movies with monkeys or orangutans or primates. Tony Danza made that ape movie with Danny DeVito, and it was just him and apes, and they they had all they got these apes, inherited them from their family in the circus.
This was a real movie?
Oh yeah, 100%. It was.
This is not one of
No, it's not one of my make-em-ups. This is real. There was this time where they just made so many primate movies with big stars.
Wow.
And this was the best of the bunch. Any Which Way You Can, Any Which Way But Loose.
Yeah. Michael Bowen playing Larry Dupree in Night of the Comet. He appeared as Nick Cage's romantic rival in Valley Girl.
Yeah, he was the Soch, or whatever they called them in that.
Yeah.
The preppy.
Yeah, the prep. Yeah. After Night of the Comet, he appeared on Lost and Breaking Bad. There seems to be a theme going on with this. He was actually related to the Carradines and Martha Plimpton.
I could see it.
So the film had to be shot quickly and cheaply. All of the actors knew this and did their best to not waste time.
Don't waste time.
They understood, they got it. And then plus, I think they trusted Tom. I think at the end of the day, they trusted him. When Samantha is arguing with her mother, Sharon Farrell actually slaps Kelly Maroney. Kelly didn't feel like the fake slap was working, so she asked Sharon to slap her for real.
Nice.
And Kelly didn't want to waste any more time trying to get the shot.
It looked real. And she looks really...
real.
It was... and then she punches her. This is what's so effed up, man. So she slaps Kelly, the stepdaughter, and the stepdaughter slaps her back because...
Rightfully so.
Right. And then she decks her, punches her right in the face.
Punches her.
Knocks her down.
And her response is, wait till I tell Dad.
Yeah. She's like, get out of here. You're ruining my party. I'm going to go have the neighbor's fingers inside of me.
So Eberhardt did allow improvisation, as we talked about. Mary Warnov and her scene in the radio station, plus Sam's line about the Uzis when the Mac-10 jams when they're shooting the car.
Dad would have gone to see Uzis.
Yeah, that was all her. She was like, well, this isn't working, and so she finished the scene.
Nice. I bet you she improvised that line too, where she's like, the drinking age is 10.
Oh,
you gotta show ID. Let's be real.
Oh, she totally did. Yeah. She was very quick on her feet. Yeah. Eberhardt, all the desolate LA shots were filmed on regular business days, just really early in the morning while traffic was stopped at lights.
Go. Yeah. Go.
100%. Set up.
And there was no painting out cars. There was no, you had to get the shot or you didn't get the shot. You know, it was, and then they had that weird kind of orangey effect.
Yeah. The waving clown
Very
that you
effective,
see.
though.
Oh yeah, 100% effective. Yeah. The waving clown that you see is the same clown from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Wait, what are you talking about?
There's a clown in the desolate LA shots where he's in front of like an auto parts store or something, but he's waving, and it's literally the same clown from the beginning of Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
That's
crazy.
crazy.
I believe it was rented from the same company.
Oh, so it's an animatronic clown.
Yes, yes. The one that he attaches the bike to that then gets stolen.
Right.
And it's very evil.
Yes.
Yeah, laughing at him. Yeah.
Ooh, that was creepy when you did that.
Thank you. David Richard Campbell scored the film. He's worked on over 450 gold and platinum albums by artists of a wide range of genres, including
Rush, Ariana Grande, Harry Styles, Muse, Michael Jackson, Aaliyah, Evanescence, Beyonce, Aerosmith, Garth Brooks, and various albums by his son Beck. Ooh, that means he's a Scientologist.
Yes.
Damn it.
Trying to slip that in the end there, realizing, because I didn't know who he was, and it was like, oh, his son is Beck. Okay.
I love Beck. I love him, but I do not want to know about...
No.
I don't... Look, Beck was... It's got to be hard for these kids that are raised in the church. If you're
born
raised
into it,
and born into it, it's got to be tough to get out of that stuff. I get it. I get it.
They definitely don't get out of it, but they don't talk about it either, which is, for
quite
me,
frankly,
I'm like, fine.
And I don't mean to be a jerk, but I don't see any real difference between Scientology and any other religion. It's all basically the same. I mean, they have the same kind of beliefs and tenets and whatever.
Sure.
They just call it something else.
Yeah, no, totally agree. He also has scored over 80 films, including Annie in 2014, Foxcatcher, August Osage County, Rock of Ages in 2012, Dreamgirls, North Country, Brokeback Mountain, and he worked on Scott Pilgrim vs. the World with Nigel Goodrich.
Great movie. Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah. Night of the Comet was one of the first films to be released with the new PG-13 rating.
Thanks a lot, Indiana Jones.
Yeah. So when the movie was released, it had mixed reviews from critics, but went on to make $14.4 million in box office from a $700,000 budget.
That is a success, my friend.
It is a success. In today's money, that would be a $2 million budget, making $40 million.
Yeah.
Now, compare this to the recent news that Everything Everywhere All at Once, the movie about the multiverse, that just became A24's highest-grossing film with just over $50 million.
That's crazy. It wasn't a runaway success, but it was definitely a quiet success.
And it made a lot of money off of a very small budget.
They got their money back.
When the movie was released, actually released on VHS, Neil Gaiman reviewed Night of the Comet for Imagine magazine and stated that it was
one of the most amusing, witty, imaginative, and thought-provoking films I've seen that was made with no budget and is also cheap exploitation. You got all that?
Neil Gaiman is British.
Not my version.
Night of the Comet was released on VHS and Betamax video cassette and CED video disc on August 30th, 1985.
Nice.
A second VHS printing happened in 1990. It's gained a huge cult following as the became more popular on home video. Joss Whedon actually has said that he was heavily influenced by Samantha when creating Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The movie.
The movie, yeah.
Not the series.
Yes.
But, no, seriously. That movie, I remember seeing it in the theater and was blown away, and I would rent it all the time. I just thought that movie was fun. It was just a different type of apocalypse movie. We saw Omega Man, and we saw, there weren't a lot of post-apocalyptic movies up until then. There was, like, Planet of the Apes series. There was Omega Man. There was, and Terminator, but...
A lot of them were about, like, nuclear annihilation, which was just depressing.
Yeah, and they were all, very serious or very action-y. Yeah. And this had more of a sense of humor and more of an in-depth... I mean, it wasn't, a super in-depth emotional retelling. But there were nice little quiet moments where you got to see the pain. When Kelly's talking about her friends at school... and then how they were, there was this boy that she liked, and he was really cute, and she starts crying because she realizes it's all over.
Yeah. It's a great monologue. It's a great scene. I mean, but that's the thing is that the movie doesn't need to go in depth like that because you see those moments, you understand that they're living through that and they're doing that.
And they're teenagers, they're gonna kind of roll with the punches. They're 80s teenagers too, man. I mean. We were all latchkey kids. We could take care of ourselves pretty well. The thing about Gen X, you don't hear a lot about us because we're good at just kind of hiding in the corner and letting shit happen.
Yeah.
We'll just sit there with our California coolers and our, and our backwood smokes and just kind of watch everybody ruin the world and then be like, told you. Yeah. See, jerks, you ruined it. Well, where were you all this time? Oh, I was out back having a smoke.
Well, there was actually a comment at the beginning when she's playing the video game and the manager or whatever was yelling at her.
Another great character actor, by the way.
Yeah, and how this is your generation, and I was just like, no, they're talking about us.
Yeah,
that's nice.
It was cute.
Which added also something I didn't add in the script, but DMK, the ending that they did with DMK pulling up and realizing that it's DMK, although she doesn't really realize it's him. But the only reason he included that was not in the original script. The only reason he included that was because through the entire production process, everyone kept asking who DMK was.
Yeah, exactly. You can't set that up and then let it go.
Yeah.
In so many movies, let things hang and don't pay off, and then everybody's talking about, well, what happened to that guy?
Right,
what happened to her?
right.
Why did he talk about Boogity Goo? It's just, you gotta pay off the things that you set up, baby.
Yeah. And in this case, it paid off really well because Sam was so sad because her sister gone off in this family unit. Like suddenly she has an instant family, and
there should have been a
Sam's
reaction from her sister that was like, DMK, no,
I
something
agree.
funny that was like, pointed it out. But I like that it was so subtle. But I guess she'd been through so much that maybe she forgot about DMK.
Maybe DMK doesn't matter anymore.
And just a little technical thing. When you play video games back in the 80s and you get your high scores, you don't, become number 7 and then wipe out number 7. Number 7 goes down to number 6, number 6 to 5, 5, 4, B, until you drop them all down. You know what I'm talking
6
about.
goes to 7.
You know what I'm saying.
You're pushing them out. She would have had to have played 4 more times.
Yeah, exactly. But they didn't want to do that, so they just made it cheap. But that's the thing. Gamers know, and they get mad.
I like that that's your problem with the movie. When the fact that they hid inside steel things.
Steel?
But here's the thing, and this is something I had to look up because I didn't understand this rewatching it. The reason that the people in the think tank started going crazy and losing their memory
Because they had
because they forgot to close the ventilation.
Yeah, she mentions that in the movie.
Did everybody that stayed in the steel cage or whatever had no ventilation?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah. The come on, Adam.
It makes no sense.
The shed had no ventilation. And
she would have been dead in the morning.
Well, famously, steel projection booths of the 40s, so many projectionists would just die of suffocation because there was no ventilation in the room.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And it doesn't...
That's why they unionized. You know that, right?
Also implies at the end when it rains and it washes all the red stuff away out of the sky and on the ground, that it implies that the whole time they were out there, they were getting infected with this comet. And then it just never affected them.
No, you needed to be infected with the comet passing.
Okay.
You needed to get the initial radiation.
Or whatever.
Yeah, let's just call it radiation, Adam, to simplify.
It doesn't make sense. And look, again, I love this movie, and this is all stuff I did not realize until watching it again.
Well, yes, it's...
But it was only because I know the movie and I was able to analyze
the hardest thing about writing movies like this is you get through like your first draft and you get all the stuff that you like in it, and then you got to justify everything. Then you got to find reasoning for stuff. And then you get to the point where you're like, you know what? This is a silly Comet movie about 2 teenage girls, surviving the apocalypse and going to the mall. Let's not worry so much about ventilation and all that stuff. But I get you, man. I mean, I never thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point is that unless you watch this movie repeatedly, it's like, what do it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It doesn't matter.
It gets to the point, like, we've watched all these. The reason why we get picky is because we've seen those movies so many times that the fun part is just to kind of make fun of them now. It's like these movies have become part of our family, and you tease people in your family because you're so close to them.
Because you love them so much.
Exactly.
And it's not because if we didn't love these movies, we just wouldn't talk about them.
Yeah, we wouldn't do a show about them. We wouldn't waste an hour of your time.
All right. I don't think we need to keep justifying how much we love our movies that we watch.
I think we do.
All right. In October 2018, Orion Pictures hired Roxanne Benjamin to write a sci-fi horror remake of the movie.
No.
This was after they were actually talking about doing sequels, but it became in the 90s. Tom Everhart realized that they didn't know who owned the rights. As of April 2019, Benjamin confirmed she had submitted her script to the remake of the remake to Orion. No other news since then, most likely due to the pandemic, and hopefully not.
Don't remake it. Don't. It's a great movie. And it doesn't need to be remade.
No.
And if you want to do a sequel, I would. You got to get them all back.
Yeah.
You got to get them all back, and you can because they're all luckily still alive.
Yeah, the only one that's not is Jeffrey Davis or Jeffrey.
Jeffrey died in the movie.
Yeah.
So did
he did.
You don't bring
right.
Warnos back. They all died.
Yeah,
Warnos.
his last shot.
It's not Warnos. Warnos is the serial killer. Eileen Warnos.
Mary Warnoff.
Mary Warnoff. You can't bring her back either because she died. But you could bring them back, and you got here's okay. All right, Hollywood. Here's your sequel. Okay. So it's however many years later. What are we, 30, 40 years later? Jesus.
Almost 40.
Oh, my God. Okay. So you got, the kids have grown up now. The kids are in their 50s, I guess, and maybe they've had kids.
Yeah.
And these kids want to find, they're sick of living in Los Angeles. They've got this great setup. They all have mansions. They go down to the mall. They figured out power. They've put together this
food and how to not.
Oh yeah, they have a great little garden, and they have chickens and stuff that they found. So they have a great little utopia. But the grandkids, they need more. They can't just stay here with their parents and their grandparents, as cool as they are. Hector and Kelly and Catherine.
Reggie.
So they take off. But they get captured by this group of, zombie type of mutants that have kind of evolved over the last 40 years into kind of their own gross civilization. Yeah. So we got to get the oldies to go rescue the youngies. We got the whole thing. Bing, bang, boom. Thing writes itself. You're welcome, Hollywood. There's your sequel.
That's very similar to I Am Legend.
And we call it Knights of the Comet. And it's KNIGHTS.
Okay. And on that note, we're out of time.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Welcome to the Gen X Foums.
Foums?
Well, I mean, you had to, because it also was, he handled it. The thing about beep, 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 nap, 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 nap. Okay. Let's reset. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Goober and the Ghost Chasers, already in progress.